come patch 3.12, we will see the end of both the throwing dagger and golden bow. They were overpowered, yes, and they did get a nerf in a previous patch. But Hi-Rez made the choice to remove this from the game, as it did make hunters roll the meta easy. So this not only makes it much harder for hunters who made this a core item, like Jingwei for example, and junglers like Mercury or Arachne who needed it to help clear camps and lanes in the early game, but this also unintentionally nerfs them and their value. This video is jumping the gun somewhat, pointing out some hypothesis type of solutions to see if there's a way to prepare and find a new start faster. We'll be talking about two items here that may help ADCs as well as a few other classes. I call it the Adventurer's Blade start and the Katana/Boot start. I should note, these are for players who don't use starter items all the time, for the reasons of getting all their items online faster. Keep that in mind. First, we'll start with a likely one, the Adventurer's Blade start. It got a nerf by losing the CC reduction, but only because it will be branching off into either Winged Blade or the new item which we'll be talking about, the Ritual Dagger. It costs 1,850 gold and gives 200 health, 10% cooldown reduction, 20% attack speed, and 10% movement speed. What really sells it is the passive. Whenever you use the relic, the duration of the relic's effects are increased by 50%. So, as an example, let's say you have Sanctuary, or Aegis, as it's called by some. The effect would last 2 seconds normally, but with the Ritual Dagger, it now would last 3. That makes a huge difference. Another example is Sprint. It's now nerfed 5 seconds, but with the Ritual Dagger, the effect is now 7.5 seconds. So the reasons why a hunter might want this item is because of the passive, as well as the movement speed you'll be getting from the Adventurer's Blade form. The extra health and attack speed. In a way, it makes up for not getting boots early. So, yes, it has a mix of boots and a small attack speed but if you factor in that this is very cheap, and you could probably afford the whole thing in the first 5 minutes of a match. Sounds good on paper. The only problem is that it provides no attack power, even when you complete it, and you won't be able to get an attack item until much later, since you'll probably work on boots next. Unless you plan to work on something else second, and then rush boots. This might work more on someone like a solo laner like a Materasu who could use a bit of attack speed for her passive, or Sun Wukong, who could use the early cooldown. Next, I think this one might be the way to go. It is the Heartseeker build. Heartseeker has a new passive. Hitting an enemy with a basic attack helps you gain focus, increasing attack speed by 3% per stack. Maximum of 5 stacks, so up to 15%. At 5 stacks, your next ability cast consumes the stacks and provides an additional plus 40 physical power buff for 3 seconds. Now there's two ways of going about this. Either you would be really risky and build 1,000-fold blade for 1,300 gold, or katana and boots for 1,100 total. Heartseeker costs 1,800, so it's really cheap, and the new passive might work for high attack speed / movement based gods like Nemesis or Jingwei. You can add in your main skill for attack once you get all 5 stacks and deliver massive damage. And if you're Jingwei, your explosive bolts will still have a high chance of a crit, which could be very dangerous for opponents. I think with the right uses and an adjusted build to support this item, it could become the new golden bow. I don't see junglers using this, since Stone Cutting Sword is much better. Of course, if you're just clearing lane, the passive can work for lane clear as well, depending on the god used. Honestly, between the two, I think the Heartseeker strategy will work with hunters better. The Ritual Blade strategy might work with solo laners that want some extra attack speed to help with their basic attacks. Though, here's my request for you guys. When the patch goes live, I want all of you to try these builds out if you can, be it in Clash, Arena, or especially Conquest, and tell me how it helped or didn't. I'll be trying them out as well, so expect a follow-up video in a week or two to talk about my results and if it changed anything. For the Heartseeker build, I think the ADCs that might like this are, of course, Jingwei, Neith, Hou Yi, Skadi, and Anhur as some examples. Again, as a disclaimer, this is merely a theory type of video about these items days before they come up, since this is the biggest game-changing patch this season. ADCs were the ones that got nerfed here, and they got nerfed hard. The goal of this video was to find a solution to make up for what was lost. I could be way off the mark, and my follow-up video will give some idea of results. Though your feedback will also be helpful, if you can, come back to this video and tell me what you think of it in the comments below, so I can add some thought of that up into the follow-up video. Or you can wait until I upload the next one and leave a comment in the sequel video. Either or is fine by me. Also, to those who are familiar with my channel, this is kind of a foreshadow to what I might do with it. I've been contemplating for months now if I should turn this channel into a Smite-oriented channel focused on gameplay, discussions, and item theory/practices like this one here. I'll be making a few videos and seeing how well or bad they do, and we'll go from there. At the very least, I'll try to finish up old projects if I can do it. Anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in another video.